Your birthday has either passed or is coming up. You already know how it went or how it's gonna go. Either you post a paragraph about yourself at midnight with a photo from 4 years ago, or you mute your notifications because you don't want happy birthday from people who only remembered because Facebook told you. Both of those reactions come from the same house you grew up in, and I'm gonna tell you why. My name's Franklin, by the way. Today, we're getting into your birthday, the one you say is no big deal even though you've been thinking about it for 2 weeks. Your birthday is a whole situation for Black Gen X. The reason why goes back further than you think. Let me start with what you do now, because this is where it gets interesting. There's 2 kinds of Black Gen X people when it comes to birthdays. The first kind is birthday month, birthday week, birthday season. They got a Sunday brunch, a Friday dinner, a Saturday night out, a Monday recovery day where they still expect you to text. They change the profile picture the night before, they post a paragraph about themselves, they book a trip, they tell the waitress it's their birthday at a restaurant they went to 3 weeks ago. This is not a joke to them. This is a holiday. The second kind don't want to hear it. Don't say nothing. Don't post nothing. If you sing to them, they look at the floor. They'll say it's just another day. But watch. If nobody calls, something shifts. They get quiet. They check their phone a little more than usual. They remember exactly who reached out and who didn't. They won't say it, but they're keeping score. Most of y'all are one of these 2, and they both come from the same place. Let me show you. Go back to your house. Pick any birthday between 1972 and 1988. It probably wasn't at Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese existed. It opened in 77. Showbiz Pizza in 80. But not every family was doing that. For a lot of Black Gen X, the birthday happened at home. Your mama cooked. The cake was on the table before you got home from school. There was no theme. There was no photographer. There were no goodie bags with personalized labels. There might have been a balloon tied to the chair you sat in, and that was the whole production, and you loved it. The plates were paper. The cups were whatever was on sale. The streamers, if there were streamers, came from the dollar store, the grocery, wherever your mama could get them for $1 and change, and she stretched them tight over the doorway like it was a full production. You walked in, you saw them, you knew it was your day. That was enough. Some of you had a bigger production. Your people rented a skating rink, a room at Pizza Hut, had the thing at the park, a whole cookout because your birthday landed in July and the family was going to be outside anyway. Some of you had an uncle who brought a speaker before speakers were portable, a big wooden thing that took 2 hands to lift. Some of you had a cousin who made a cake that wasn't quite right, but you ate it because your cousin made it. And some of y'all had nothing. I'll come back to that. Let me name some snacks. Tell me which one's hitting. Kool-Aid, red or purple, in a big clear jug with the sugar already mixed in heavy, sometimes too heavy. Sometimes you got that grainy sip at the bottom. Styrofoam cups. You were not getting a glass. You were getting a cup that bent when you squeezed it. And if you were really lucky, it was Capri Sun. But only if your mama was feeling generous, because those cost. Chips in a big plastic bowl. Not the fancy kind, whatever was on the shelf. Doritos, if she was feeling it. Ruffles, Lay's, Fritos, cheese puffs that turned your fingers orange. You wiped them on your pants because you knew better than to wipe them on the couch, but you still had to get rid of the evidence before somebody noticed. The cake. Sometimes from the grocery store, Kroger, Winn-Dixie, Publix, whatever was close. Sometimes homemade. If it was homemade, it was probably from a Duncan Hines box, but your mama added something, a little extra vanilla, a drop of almond extract, icing she whipped up from a Domino powdered sugar box with some butter and milk. It wasn't Instagram ready. There were no fondant flowers. The happy birthday was written by somebody doing their best with a tube of icing that was running out. And the ice cream was Neapolitan every time, because nobody could agree on the flavor, and Neapolitan covered everybody. The vanilla was gone first. The strawberry sat there untouched. The chocolate was scraped clean down to the cardboard. That block of Neapolitan tells you everything about how families worked back then. You didn't get your own flavor. You got a slice of all 3. Now here's where it gets real. What you wanted for your birthday and what you got for your birthday were not always the same thing. Your people did the best they could. Understand that first. But let me tell you what was on your list. You wanted the Atari 2600 or the Nintendo when it came out in '85, the one with the two gray cartridges, Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, the actual one, not the off-brand that looked like it but wasn't it. You wanted the Sega Genesis when that dropped in '89. You wanted the big cartridge slot, the controller with the red button. You wanted a Cabbage Patch Kid in '83. That was the year. The top-selling toy of 1983. Stores ran out. Parents were fighting in parking lots. 2.5 million units sold that year. And if your mama got you one, understand, she worked for that doll. She called her sister. She drove to 3 stores. She had somebody at a job put one aside for her. You wanted the BMX bike with the pegs. You wanted the jean jacket. You wanted the starter jacket, the Raiders one, or the Bulls when Jordan got hot, or the Cowboys if your daddy loved Dallas. Later, you wanted the Jordans themselves, the real ones, with the box. You would have taken a knockoff, but opening that box would have felt a little different. Most of y'all got close. Not exact, but close. You got the jacket, but it wasn't starter. You got the bike, but it had fewer pegs. You got the video game, but it was a year older than the one your cousin had. And you were fine with it. You were fine because you loved the person who got it for you, and you knew they stretched to get it. Some of y'all got exactly what you asked for. Your people planned. Your people saved. Your people knew what you asked for the first time you said it in July, and they went and got it in December or March or whenever your day was. You remember that specific feeling, opening something and realizing somebody paid attention. And then there was the card. The card from your people always had money in it. $5, $10 if it was a good year, $20 if grandma wasn't counting. The bill came out folded into thirds, sometimes in a little slit in the card, sometimes just tucked in there like an afterthought. You read the card fast and went straight for the money. Everybody did. Nobody pretended to care about the card first. That was the ritual. The cousins would ask you how much you got. You would lie up. They would lie up too. Nobody knew the real numbers, but everybody knew somebody's grandma put a Hamilton in there, and everybody was mad about it. Let me talk about that Stevie song again. Stevie Wonder wrote Happy Birthday in 1980. It came out on Hotter Than July, released as a single in June 1981. But it wasn't just a party song. Stevie wrote it as a push to make Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday a national holiday. He campaigned for years, performed at rallies, got on TV, planned a 4-month tour with Bob Marley until Marley got sick. Then Gil Scott-Heron took Marley's place. Stevie kept singing it and kept singing it until Reagan signed a bill in late 1983. The first federal MLK Day happened January 20, 1986. Stevie headlined the concert that night. That's the song. That's where it came from. So when your auntie breaks out into it at your birthday, she's not being extra. She's singing a song that was written to honor a man who died trying to make the country recognize black people as full human beings. And she's putting you in the center of that energy. Your day, in her mouth, becomes something bigger than your day. It's celebration as resistance. It's you matter, say it loud. It's the clap on the downbeat. It's the cousin who doesn't sing any other time of year, but she'll sing this. You didn't know all that when you were 7. But the feeling hit you anyway. That's why the hair on your arm still stands up when you hear it, even now, even when you say you don't care about birthdays. When that song starts, something in you remembers being small and being seen. Let me talk about who was there. A lot of y'all didn't have friends at your birthday. Not because you didn't have friends. The party was family. Your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your daddy's best friend you called uncle. Your mama's best friend you called auntie. Whoever was around. Maybe 2 or 3 kids from down the street, but the room was grown. And that changed something in you. You learned how to be a kid around adults. You learned to hold a plate and say thank you and not run around too much. You learned to receive a gift without opening it right away because somebody said wait. You learned a birthday was a family event, not a kid event. Some of y'all didn't get the sleepover. Didn't get the friend party at the bowling alley, didn't get invited to other people's sleepover parties either, or got invited and weren't allowed to go. Your people had rules about whose house you could stay the night at, and that rule was almost always nobody's. So your birthday was family. Some of y'all had the opposite. Friend parties every year. Skating rink on Saturday afternoon. The DJ letting everybody know whose day it was over the loudspeaker. Roller rink with the disco lights and the carpet that smelled of feet. Pizza Hut party room. McDonald's play place. Because your people wanted you to have what they didn't have when they were kids. Those parents were making a specific decision. They saw what their own birthdays looked like in the 40s and 50s and said, my kid is getting something different. And then there was the school birthday. The teacher announcing it or not announcing it. Some teachers had a whole ritual, a little cupcake, a song, a paper crown. Some teachers acted like they didn't know. Some years your mama sent in a box of those grocery store cupcakes with the plastic ring on top. Some years she couldn't. You knew which year it was going to be before she said anything. And then there was the phone call from the family out of state, the aunt in Chicago or Detroit or Atlanta or wherever, the one who called every year on your day at like 6:45 in the morning because she was on her way to work and wanted to catch you before school. That phone call mattered. It was somebody in another state remembering you specifically by name on a specific date. That's not a small thing. That taught you something about love. Now, I have to say this part because it's real for a lot of you watching. Some of y'all didn't get celebrated at all. Your birthday came and went. Your people didn't do birthdays. Maybe it was religion. Some churches didn't play that. Maybe it was money. Maybe it was just how they grew up. Their parents didn't do it, so they didn't do it. You got a happy birthday on the way out the door. Maybe a card. Maybe nothing. And you told yourself it was fine. Years went by. Your birthdays started blending together. You stopped asking for things. You stopped looking forward to the day. You turned 12, then 13, then 14 without a cake on the table. The person who goes hardest for their birthday as an adult, a lot of times, that's the person who didn't get a party as a kid. They're not being extra. They're filling something in. They're giving themselves the day they should have had when they were 8. And the person who downplays it, don't make a big deal, sometimes that's the person who asked for a party once and got a "we'll see" that turned into nothing. So they stopped asking. They stopped wanting. They trained themselves to not need. And now, as a grown person, they still don't ask. Both of those people learned the same lesson, just moving in different directions. The lesson was, my day might not happen unless I make it happen. So here's what all of this shaped. You grew up in a house where birthdays meant different things depending on the year, the money, the mood of your people, whether your daddy was home, whether your mama was working a double. The celebration wasn't guaranteed. Some years were big. Some years were quiet. Some years nobody said anything. And because the celebration wasn't guaranteed, you learned to read the room. You learned early if this year was a year, if people were acting right, if there was a cake in the fridge, if your mama mentioned your birthday more than once in the week leading up. You got good at reading signals because signals were the only thing you had. That skill stayed with you. You still read rooms now. You know within 30 seconds if a gathering is about you or tolerating you or using you. That came from those years of figuring out if this birthday was going to happen or not. The way you celebrate yourself now comes from that too. The birthday month people, they're saying, I'm not waiting on anybody. I'm making this a full month, whether y'all show up or not. The don't say nothing people, they're saying, I'm not going to set myself up to be disappointed again. Both of y'all are still at 50-something reacting to a birthday you had when you were 10. That's how psychology works. The moment doesn't disappear. It becomes the thing you do now. The good news, you can change the lesson. The birthday month person can chill sometimes and let other people pour into them without planning the whole thing. The don't say nothing person can say something, can ask, can tell their kids, their spouse, their best friend, here's what I want this year. Because the celebration is allowed to be simple. A cake, a song, somebody who remembered. That's the whole thing. That's all it ever was. And your birthday, even the ones you didn't get, even the ones that were quiet, even the ones where nobody said anything, those birthdays were still yours. Nobody can take them back from you. You can give them to yourself now. Your birthday is a receipt. It tells you who was paying attention, who's paying attention now, and who you became because of both. If nobody shows up this year, show up for yourself. Your people in 1978 would be proud that you're still here to have a day at all. Happy birthday, whenever yours is. Don't let nobody make it small. See you in the next one.